So, show me a bit of a chin wag about mowers. Now you've genned up on them.
Yeah.
You'll know more than me now.
No, I won't.
Gentlemen, you join myself and Mr. Simon Henley once again. We are now on Kubota M7 tractor. Hopefully you'll have seen the full review on that. But now we're going to talk about the two bits of kit that are swinging off the tractor. So hopefully you'll have already seen the walk around piece that I did with Dave Edwards from the Merlin Group. Cracking bit of a nice bit of walk around there, around the mowers, basically where they sit in the family. Going through the different specs, some of the setup, things like that. So now me and Simon are just going to have a quick run through it, I suppose operation wise really, now we've got on with it today. Well, we'll start with you. We'll start with you. How have you gone with the mowers in terms of, just handling and controlling and things like
that? I've got on very well with them actually. Once you get used to them, there's 32 models in the entire lineup in the series available.
Right,
and that's from trailed, front mounted, rear mounted, and of course your combinations, your triples. There's an awful lot.
So they've got plenty of choice.
They've got plenty of choice of these mowers. 100%, a lot of choice. Yeah.
Well, like listed in the walk round, boys and girls, we've got a good flavour of the Kubota mounted mowers in particular, because we've got one from a slightly older generation at the front. I say old, it ain't old yet at all. No. These mowers are still available. The new looking ones are just about coming through now. But the one on the front it's sprung suspension on there, and it's got the nylon tire conditioners, and at the rear we've got the very fancy pants. What do they call that suspension?
Quattrolink. Yeah.
Quattrolink suspension. Hydro pneumatic suspension, and we've got the steel tire conditioners. So we've got a really good flavour of Kubota's mounted mower offering, you might say. Let's talk about just some of what we've kind of noticed today. Let's talk about the ground following for a start. We'll talk about the front ground following at the moment. So with that sprung suspension, I would say on the whole, pretty damn good. We have tested it to the limit in terms of the ground following capability on that front mower with the front suspension, because we have been going through some really savage sort of dips and hollows. So yeah, I would say the front mower has caught pretty well today. Like I say, we've thrown everything at it in terms of ground undulations and things like that.
It's done exceptionally well, because we're no word of a lie. Some of these fields are rough. We've had dips like this, that are beyond the limits of the mower's travel, aren't they? And that's that is saying something.
Yeah.
When we were down there, earlier, God Almighty.
Yeah. You just got to help it along a bit. Just pull the spool back a bit and just nudge her up, just to help it along. Because, like I say, some of the dips that we've been in, like you say,
they are beyond the mower's actual range of travel. Yeah. And yet, apart from a little bit of coaxing on the hydraulic system, you watch me leave a stripe now, but it can stay there. Apart from a little bit of coaxing just to carry it over the bad raise, not a problem. And I have to say as well, the conditions, it's quite wet here, isn't it?
It is, it's very tender.
Yeah.
We've got to remind you, we're in May 2022, so depending on where you're watching this, you may remember it was hit and miss start to the silage season. It's very tender. There's another bit over there. Where are you going?
Oh dear, I shouldn't say that, sorry, idiot.
Yeah, put your bloody res back on. Come on, sunshine.
Yeah, the ground's very tender, but the stubble, the stubble, the finish is really, really good.
It's absolutely impeccable, isn't it?
And there's very little sword damage, even on the rough ground.
That's it. There's no
And that's
scalping.
there's very little.
No scalping, no scuffing from the skids. It is just floated really nicely over the ground. And with those 3-bladed discs, the finish is absolutely beautiful, both from the front and the rear. I mean, they both have exactly the same bed, share the same bed, so you'd expect that. But yeah, I mean,
the same width as well. You're both 3.2
that's it,
metre
both
mowers.
3.2 metre mowers. I mean, we've just talked suspension on the front. Let's talk ground following on the rear, because that is a very swanky system it's got on the rear.
Very clever. One of the best I've seen, actually, to be very fair with you. I mean, it really does do a spectacular job. We've not
touched that one.
So the ground following ability of the rear set is brilliant.
It's impeccable, isn't it?
It is. We've not had any reason or cause to lift the thing, or once we set it up. You set it up when you lower it down. You showed me
That's
that,
right,
and we
yeah.
level it, which is that's imperative.
Yeah, so you got your main arm, you lower that down to. It's got a really good sight glass on the front of it, which is it shows the angle. The degrees, isn't it? Number of degrees, the angle that it's set at. So you set that at about, what was it, 8 degrees we set it at?
8 degrees, yeah.
So you lower it down, and then when you lower the full bed down, it levels itself out to about 0 degrees, and that 0 degrees is what you're aiming for when you are working. And once you've done that, it's dead easy.
Yeah, and bear in mind as well, like we were saying, you know, on those parts of the field where we've had to lift the front back, no way.
No, the back's
glides
fine.
through. Yeah, glides
well, that's
through.
it. It's very. I mean, you look where that arm is on the rear mower, and then you've got that big 4-point linkage, well, 4-arm linkage behind the big main arm. That's essentially a trail mower you've got going on there.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like these centre point mounted mowers where it's down near solid. It's just mounted to the middle of the mower at one point. They are being pushed along, forced along. Now, granted, this is a high-spec mower. This will cost a lot more than those, you know, the simpler type mowers. But it is effectively, you've got a trail mower on the back of there, and it's acting as such.
What I would also say about it, which is very important, is the swath formation.
Oh, do you know what? Alan said that this morning.
Really, really excellent swath formation. When you push the swath, you put the swath plates in, they extend automatically, and it's only a manual slide job, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very clever. It's just a mechanical link.
But it just pushes the swath. Look, you can see here, and it really does do an excellent, well compacted swath. And we're in a heavy crop, in not ideal ground conditions, and it's also as wet as it needs to be, if I'm honest as well.
Yeah, you won't want this any wetter. I mean, you could go wetter, but you won't want it any wetter.
No.